Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to Babeinlibrary. It's your girl Lisa, and today I've got a book haul for you. This is my very first book haul of 2025, and I say very first because, let's be honest, I'm not going on a book buying ban. However, I am doing something a little bit different this year when it comes to bringing in books and shipping out books. So today it's going to be a book haul, but shortly after this, you will see another video come out with me unhauling books. So I have about 11 books to unhaul, and I have 10 to bring in its place. And one of the books that I'm giving away because it is an ARC, so I cannot put it up on Pango. But as of this video, all of the books that I'm going to unhaul will already be up on Pango. So if you're watching this, feel free to check my Pango shop and you can see what things I no longer have interest in. But today's video is all about the things that are bringing me joy. So let's talk about the 10 books that I have now acquired. 50% of them are books that I have read from before and I loved, and so I needed to have them on my shelf. And the other 50% is books that I have read either from the author before or have heard really fantastic things, and I have big plans for them in 2025. So it's looking like a mix here. But first, we're going to start off with a book that I bought off Pango. I am collecting the Sviri Mate series in the special edition. Now, this is Taking a Sassor by Elizabeth Stevens. So it is the third in the series, and I am up to the sixth book. Now, I have not read the third in the series because it is an outlier. She has one or two books in the series that does not follow the traditional sequential order. And so I have hopes to read this after I have read the traditional ones. I'm going to come back and read Taking a Sassor, but I knew I needed to have this copy to be on my shelf because Elizabeth Stevens is no longer producing this particular special edition. Now, this is my bookish red flag that I'm going to admit to you all today. I'm collecting this entire edition. However, they don't have to be the same format, right? So this one is a paperback. I have another one that is a paperback. And then I have three that are hardback. So it does not matter to me if it's a paperback or a hardback. I just care about the beautiful illustrated editions. So if you see a Sviri Mate out in the wild, please let me know. Tell me, hey, Lisa, do you have this copy already? It's up on Pango, it's on Mercari, it's on eBay. Let me know because I am trying to catch them all like Pokemon. I love Elizabeth Stevens, and I did not get the full set during her Kickstarter. I just bought the first one because at the time I hadn't read anything but the first one. I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to love it. And spoiler alert, I've loved everything that I have read from her. So I have to have this entire series. I am so glad that someone put this up, and it was a reasonable price too. The next book that I picked up off of Pango as well is Outdrawn by Deanna Gray. Get into this cover, like illustrations. Y'all know me, I am a traditional people cover girl. Like, give me a male or female model, give me real people on my covers. But whoever made this particular cover, 8. Like, this is what I'm looking for. Give me the vibes. This is giving me black cat, grumpy girl with like sun-kissed, sunshine, sweet, innocent, but they are rivals and they are, taking it down on... I almost said something I couldn't say online. This is giving what it needs to give, honestly. I have read plenty of Deanna Gray's. Like, I've read 2 in her other series, and I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about this one. And I've been looking for more sapphic romances. That was my challenge to myself in 2024. I wanted to see what sapphics were out there that I could promote, and I can also read for my own personal enjoyment. I did not get a chance to get to this one, so it is something I will be reading in 2025 because I want to know what the girlies are talking about. Like, I want to be in the I love her sweet vibes, and I have a feeling that this one is going to be a 5-star because everything that Deanna Gray has produced so far has been hidden and out the ballpark. So this one is on my short TBR list. The next, I would say 3 or 4 or 5 books I absolutely have read from and loved. So this first one being 8 Seconds to Ride by Ashley James. Like, this is favorite character of 2024. Like, Shooter Graham lives rent-free in my mind. He is like the hilarious best friend that you just can't get out of your ear. And like, you're like, yes, Shooter, I know. Like, Ashley James said that this was like her most notable character in the series, and he had to appear in every single book. And the lady wrote the entire series and produced it and released it in 1 year. Like, she had the most amazing year in 2024, but it would not have been as great if Shooter Graham wasn't in the picture, because he's truly my favorite character of last year. Next, I picked up, because this was the only one in the Infidelity series that I did not have, and if you know me, I love C.P. Harris's Infidelity series, and so I had to pick up The Fisherman. This is the second book in the series. This is an age gap where the male main character, Leland, is dating his best friend's father, Franklin. And it is a very emotional ride. C.P. Harris is a brilliant writer. The way in which she crafts a story, the way in which she writes is so elegant and captivating that this story, it sounds very, very salacious, but the way in which it's dealing with like grief, it is dealing with the mental health and being able to seek professional help and really deciding, hey, how do I feel about where I stand in life, and am I doing the right thing for the person that I love? Should I let them go? Should I keep them close? Like, how do I make it past my transgressions, and how do I make it past losing a loved one of somebody that I thought that this would be my life and my stars and my world, and how do I find love again? Like, y'all, C.P. Harris really has the golden touch. Like, every single book in this series, I was like, yeah, give me more. Like, now, my most underrated favorite book of 2024 was Damien Windsor's by Ebony Farrishoe. Like, I don't see anybody on any social media platform other than Tamia is still reading, who recommended this book to me. I don't see anyone talking about it, and that is the true crime of the year, right? Like, this book needs to be studied. It needs to be talked about. It needs to be placed in the stratosphere for like most underrated book that will like change the way your chemistry is made up about what insta love look like. This is really, I should have thought about like how it had the soul ties, soulmates vibes before I was in that bag. Like, this was the kickoff for me. So Ebony wrote a story that started off with like a one night stand, and it seemed very, very salacious. It had a little bit of magical realism in my personal opinion, and at first I thought it was like an erotica. I thought that this was one of those situations. I was like, ooh, I'm in for a good spicy time. No, Ebony said, hey, that's how I caught you. I'm going to reel you in, and you are going to go on a journey of a love story where these two individuals are in each other's orbit, and they just work. They go through, so much in such a short amount of time frame that it feels like they've known each other for so long. It feels like they can weather any storm. Like, they are what you would sit and watch bingeable TV on, and you will end the story like mind blown and changed. I love this. She captures it as a sexy, emotional healing. Damien Windsor will make you laugh and cry while sending erotic tingles through your body as only Ebony Farrishoe novel can. And I attest. So if you don't pick up anything else from me, like, check her out. Check this one out. I know that she has some other books, which reminds me I need to read in 2025, because the girl, she did her thing. Speaking of somebody who like writes, if she writes it, I'm gonna read it, and it's going to touch me right in the feels. Like, she's going to open up my chest. She's going to move some stuff around, and she's just going to slot her book in there. Like, my heart has a bookshelf, and it is filled with J.L. Seeger's novel. Like, Reclaim Me is vying for the number one spot in my life. Like, what she did with this should be studied, because this again is one of those situations where you ever have a trope that you're like, there's no way on earth, like God's green earth, that I would ever promote a book that had this, because I'm not a fan. Like, we don't have to, specifically in this one, Secret Baby. Like, we don't have to do the Secret Baby thing, girl. Like, why are we holding on to kids and not letting them see their other part of that makes up their genetic makeup? Like, why is it a thing? Let me tell you, JL Seeger says, hey, I've got a reason why. And it's real valid. And once you read it, you're gonna be like, I understand. Like, let me take my foot out my mouth and not say I don't like something no more. Because if JL Seeger's write it, yeah, I like it. Like, don't worry, she's got me. This book had me sobbing. Like, Hunter is my man. When I talk about like book boyfriends that I really wish that I could put like my fairy godmother to work and say, hey, make him this. This is the guy. Hunter, we get a little bit of him in other books within the New Haven series, and I never really looked at him as, you know, I never gave him a second look. Like, when I met him in Revive Me, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, you know. He's a boxer. He seems like cool. He's down for the women. He wants to make sure that everybody feels safe and protected. There was nobody he could feel safe and protected more so. I want to say her name is Ray. Yeah, Ray. When I said this man steps in and he said, hey, baby, I got you. Like, I've had you since I've met you, and I've never stopped thinking about you. And let me tell you, he takes over and he says, hey, I wasn't what you needed at the time, but you've been all I've ever needed, and I'm going to show you that you'll never have to want for anything else again. And I had to have it. Like, I have the special edition, but I also needed this physical copy. And when I see JL in person, she is going to understand you don't have to do anything else. I know you actually have at least one more in the series. You got one more in the chamber. And if you let off another round and it's another man like Dominic or Hunter, the girls are going to be distraught. We're going to be asking and praying Sierra's prayer that, like, one of these men could just come off the page. Like, that's what's going to happen. So, buckle up, buttercups, because she's got another one left in the series, and you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to pre-order it. Now, speaking of men that I fell in love with in 2025, there's a man named Lance Valentine, and he's one of the Valentine brothers in the Heart of the Valentine series. This is Give Me a Reason. This is my favorite in the series, and I had to have it on my shelf. Like, looking at this man, you're like, oh, okay, he's probably, you know, thoughtful, and he's probably kind, and he's probably, you know what I'm saying, very attentive. You would be right. And if you did not think about that looking at this man, shame on you. Because this man right here, God put something special in him. He made this man specifically for Allison. I have to remember her name because, like, I know that they are the best couple in this series, but I constantly replay Lance in my mind. Like, the way in which he just wanted to be with Allison, like, that was his moon, his stars, his sun, and his sky. That, like, she was the orbit in which he revolved around, and I can only hope for a fraction of the love that he had for her. Like, and the love that they shared for each other, because don't get me wrong, Allison loved that man so much that she was willing to sacrifice. She was willing to sacrifice her own happiness for him, but he said, I don't need you to do that. I just need you to let me love you. And I love it. Like, I can go read it right now, and I bet you it's going to hit the same. This book was one that I said, if I don't get another Stephanie Nicole Norris on my shelf, like, if she stopped making books today, if the printing press said, hey, there is nothing else I can offer you that's already in circulation. I'm going to say, hey, do you got this in the bag? I don't care if it's falling apart. Bring it here. I want it. This phenomenal series. Stephanie Nicole Norris really created a set of brothers, 6 of them to be specific, because there is actually 7. It is a septuplet, but there's something that happens and you do not get to meet the 7th brother. But the 6 brothers you get to meet, it damn near could be a wild choose romance, because I love them all. Enough about gushing over books and the men, but I've got 3 more left, and you can see this last one right here. I want y'all to put in the chats before I get going. Tell me what you think this one is. If you could think about the biggest book that is circulating the internet right now, that has the girlies on lock, that means that, like, this is the one that's heard in, at least in my circles. Like, when I'm reading, it's this one right here. If somebody's not recommending it, they not reading. So let me know what you think that this could be. Chances are you're probably right. But I've got 3 books remaining. One that I have not read, but I have a special edition of it. And I want y'all to know that it is Sierra Simone's A Lesson in Thorns. I had never seen this one. This is the Last Chapter Bookshop edition. This one, I've seen a number of, like, special editions for A Lesson in Thorns. I've seen the original cover. I have never seen this one in circulation. So this one is very interesting because I thought I had seen all of the Last Chapter Bookshop. So I'm not sure how long ago this was created, but I can tell you that I have a video in mind already for this because I own a lot of Sierra Simone books. Haven't read a single one. Not a one. The next one that I did pick up is one that this author is probably going to be, I'm calling it now, one of my top read authors in 2025, because the way in which I read her book last month, and it has set something in me that I have to devour everything she has ever produced and will ever produce that comes out in this year. When I meet her, I already message her and be like, hey girl, I know you're sick of me. Please bear with me because I cannot be stopped. Like, the way in which I'm about to devour your backlist, it's going to be unreal. That is Miss Bella J. So I read Bookmarked in January, and if you haven't seen my monthly wrap up, I'm going to link it up above, and it's going to be down below. But the real tea is, everyone has been talking about 1201. It is like a lick back season type book. So I really did want to pick this one up for the New Year's, because I believe it's a New Year Eve romance where the female main character, she goes to jail and is picked up by her ex-boyfriend's brother, and they have a little bit of a rendezvous. Like I said, there's some get back to it, because I think the ex-boyfriend was foul, and his brother has never liked that he did that to the woman that should really deserve the world. And I'm here for it. It says, revenge is sweet, but it's even sweeter when it's your ex's brother. And that's what type of time I'm on. I'm on this type of time, especially because I know Bella J can write it to where you be like, that ain't no problem. That's not a concern. Actually, sis, you did the right thing. Last and finally, let's talk about the book that I said, hey, everybody is reading, everybody's recommending, and it is now my time. If you guessed Demon's Dream by Elle Kaysen, you're absolutely correct. Now, this is actually a weapon. Like, the way in which this book is 700 and probably 40 pages, and people say they devour it in one day, I fear that I'm going to be locking myself in a room. And I'm not going to be able to come out until I see my way through it. Like, I heard somebody talk about this a little bit the other day. And truth be told, as much as this is circling around, I have not been spoiled. I don't know a single thing that goes on other than the fact that the female main character lends herself to pay for the debts or spare her brother, which is very much giving me the Kira Casey book that I had been reading, which is Brutal Winter, right? It very much gives me that vibe, but make it all black. Like in Brutal Winter, that is an interracial romance, and I don't necessarily have to continue to go down that path because Elle Kaysen said, hey, there's a guy named Demon. And there's a guy named Smoke I'm hearing, and them men have everything that you need. And the way in which I cannot wait to get to this, because I want to see what the hype is about. I want to know why all of the girlies are down bad for either Demon or Smoke. And trust me, I hear it on both sides. So just like squeeze me right through the middle. And this is supposed to have an audiobook that comes out, but I don't know when that is going to be, and I don't have the patience nor the time to wait. So I might have to double time this year. So I might have to read it physically, and then when I'm jonesing for my fix, I will listen to the audiobook when it comes out. But either way, this will be read this year. I've had the Kindle Unlimited version, which this is on Kindle Unlimited. So if you are interested in reading and quite possibly doing a buddy read, let me know, because this is a priority for 2025. And I'm glad that I have the original cover. I know that this was also there's a new cover that's out there, and I thought I was getting that copy, and it did not come. And when this copy came, I said, oh, I'm one of the original girlies. Like, check me out. So this is the final book that I have to haul for you all today. Do me a favor, if you could suggest which one of these two books I should start with, let me know. If you think I should start with 1201, leave me a clock emoji, and if you think I should start with Demon Dream, leave me a cart emoji. But either way, both of these will be read in 2025, and I will be giving you my thoughts on them. And so I will talk to you all later. Bye.